There is a specific kind of silence that lives in the heart of someone waiting to be fixed. It's the silence of a painter who won't touch the canvas until the lighting is perfect. It's the silence of a writer who won't type a word until their mind is clear of doubt. It's the silence of a person who says, "I will serve, I will lead, and I will love, just as soon as I get my life together." We spend our days auditioning for a role we think we haven't earned yet. We treat our flaws like stains on a white dress, things to be scrubbed out, hidden, or apologized for. We are waiting for the day we are finally whole to begin our purpose. But what if I told you that you were looking at your life through the wrong end of the lens? What if the master weaver of the universe doesn't look for the pristine silk spools? What if he specifically hunts for the threads that everyone else, including you, has already cast aside? In the valley of Oakhaven, the air didn't smell like pine. It smelled of raw wool and cedar looms. This was a village of legends where the master weavers lived. In Oakhaven, a person's worth wasn't measured by their gold or their land, but by the symmetry of their tapestry. They believed that a perfect life was a geometric one. Straight lines, mirroring patterns, edges so sharp they could cut the air. Then there was Elias. Elias grew up with the rhythm of the looms in his blood, but it never quite reached his fingertips. You see, Elias was born with a trembling in his right hand. It wasn't a constant shake, but a rhythmic stutter, a neurological glitch that manifested the moment he tried to guide a needle. While the other apprentices wove tapestries that looked like frozen lakes, smooth, cold, and flawless, Elias's work looked like a battlefield. His threads bunched, his colors bled, his lines didn't just bend, they jagged. He spent his nights trying to smooth the wool with his tears, but the harder he gripped the shuttle, the more his hand betrayed him. Eventually, Elias stopped showing his work. He moved his loom to the furthest, darkest corner of his workshop. He told the village he was working on a masterpiece, but in reality, he was just hiding his brokenness. He decided until the trembling stopped, he was a spectator in his own life. He was waiting for a healing that never came, while his purpose sat gathering dust in the dark. One autumn morning, the atmosphere in Oakhaven shifted. The great weaver, the one who had taught the village elders, arrived. The town square was a sea of perfection. The weavers lined up, holding their symmetrical masterpieces, faces glowing with the pride of people who had never made a mistake. The great weaver walked past them. He didn't look at the perfect diamonds or the flawless squares. He kept walking until the cobblestones turned to dirt, until the crowd thinned, until he stood before the door of a small, shadowed workshop at the edge of the woods. He didn't knock, he simply entered. Elias jumped, his hand jerking so hard it snapped a thread. He tried to throw a burlap sack over his work, but the great weaver was faster. With a hand weathered by centuries of work, the old man pulled the ragged, uneven cloth into the morning light. "Why do you hide this?" the great weaver asked. His voice wasn't booming, it was like the sound of wind through wheat. Elias hung his head. "It's flawed, it's a mess of mistakes. My hand, it trembles. I'm waiting for it to be steady, sir. I'm waiting until I can produce something worthy of your eyes." The great weaver looked at the jagged, ugly knot in the center of the fabric. He smiled, not a smile of pity, but a smile of recognition. "You see a mistake. I see a space for grace," he whispered. A perfect tapestry tells the story of the weaver's skill, but a tapestry that is mended, that, sir, tells the story of the weaver's love. And then the great weaver did something Elias never expected. He didn't heal the hand, he didn't take the trembling away. Instead, he reached into his own cloak and pulled out a thread of deep, vibrant crimson,
a color Elias had never seen. He took Elias's shaking right hand in his own steady one. He didn't tell him to stop trembling, he simply guided the motion. They didn't try to unweave the jagged lines. They didn't try to straighten the crooked path. Instead, they began to weave around the flaws. The bunched-up wool became the texture of a root. The bled-out colors became the shading of a leaf. Under the great weaver's guidance, the very scars of the fabric began to take shape. That giant, ugly knot that Elias hated became the center of a magnificent, blooming rose. The uneven texture gave the flower a three-dimensional depth that no perfect weaver in the village could ever replicate. The masterpiece wasn't created despite the flaws, it was created because of them. We are all Elias. We are all hiding our jagged edges in the dark corners of our lives, convinced that God can't use us until the trembling stops. But in the kingdom of the Master Weaver, the barrier does not exist. Your flaws are not obstacles. They are the exact places where the golden thread of grace becomes visible to the world. A world full of perfect people is a world of cold, flat tapestries. But a world of mended people, that is a gallery of wonders. Stop waiting to be fixed before you begin. The masterpiece doesn't start when you become perfect. It starts the very moment you put your trembling hand in His. So, I ask you today, what have you been hiding in the shadows? It's time to bring it into the light. The weaver is waiting, and he brought the crimson thread. Thank you for listening. For more reflections on faith and the journey of the soul, subscribe to Faithfully Pilgrim. May peace go before you.